All right, I'm back into playing Far Beyond the World. I don't really have anything to say or add on from continuing from like my first read through of this. Other than um, I have seen like reviews for this novel, and I know a lot of people say that the pacing of this novel is pretty bad and long and drawn out, but honestly, I'm still willing to give it a chance. It's like I do see it has great potential, and I was pretty entertained with how things were playing out in again my first playthrough. So I guess without further ado, I mean, yeah, as you can see here, I ended my last read through like after midnight. After again, I was recording for nearly 3 hours. So hopefully I can find a good place to stop reading, so I actually have time to sleep and go to work. Anyways, I don't remember where we left off, so hopefully this history will help. Why would you be willing to kill someone over a tree? There's more to it than that. Okay. So we're about to learn more about the culture of the name tree, I believe. Okay. Anyways, he nods reluctantly, sitting back on the bed but keeping appropriate distance. Whenever a pup is born, we plant a special sapling within the grove. It's fashioned from seeds of their parents' name trees. How does that work? I can see a cheeky grin paint on the gray wolf's muzzle. Well, when a mommy tree loves daddy tree very, very much. Oh, fuck off! I scoffed through the chuckle. I scoffed through a chuckle accompanied by Raynox's laughter. Well, what do you want me to say? He barks out defensively. Sorry that I don't know how you make tree baby. It's simple, really. You just pollinate a seed of one tree with the other. Uh-huh. And then what? I'm certain I have a very confused look on my face, as the wolf regards me with mild frustration. You just plant it. As a pup lives long enough to earn a name, that name is then carved into his growing tree. When we die, we are buried beneath them, so that we can become one. This allows our spirits to stay in this world a little while longer, to guide our people. As long as the tree lives, our ancestors are still with us. I take a moment to digest the information. So, that's what Vaughn meant by saying the ancestors reside inside them. It's their resting place. The gray wolf blinks, looking at me in shock. Wolf talked about it? I'm surprised. He doesn't open up to just anyone about spiritual stuff. I'm not sure if he's trying to make me feel better or speaking the truth about the blackmail. Despite Volgor's earlier actions, I'm already warming up to him, and I'd like to think that he's starting to warm up to me in turn. We sit like this for a moment in silence, but I don't mind. His presence alone is enough to put me at ease, or at least as much as ease as he himself is. Despite sitting next to each other, I have to look up to meet his gaze, his form towering above mine. If I say slowly, thinking back to the dark void which held me so enviously before I opened my eyes. It almost feels as if I'm still here somewhere, hiding at the edges of my vision and waiting to reclaim me. The persistent thought of me actually being dead doesn't help either. Perhaps those are just last imaginings of my slowly fading mind. What a horrible thought. If this is just a dream, Then I'm not sure I want to wake up. Then don't. He closes his eyes, smiling. Everything is so simple for him. I feel like I don't have a choice in the matter. I've lost all sense of agency. The wolf looks at me with a weird expression, but then it proceeds to look at the window. We sit like this for a moment, and I find myself staring at the world outside. The calm of the night claimed the forests, and the moonlight bathes in hues of midnight blue. Maybe it's the exact opposite. I look up at the wolf, confusion obviously painted on my face. You have a clean slate. You can start life anew. No mistakes of the past to weigh you down. No attachments, no strings. I narrow my brows, almost feeling as if he made light of my circumstance. Would you trade places with me then? I would, he says without hesitation. I blink, caught off guard by the statement. It sounded almost sincere. I've made many mistakes in my life, and my future was already decided long before I was born. I knew who I would be, when and who I had to mate with, everything predetermined without my say. You're the first actual choice I had. Who's without agency here? He forces a challenging smirk, and I reciprocate it with a smile. Wait, mate? I cough, surprised that I actually asked that out loud. Renock looks at me with a bit of confusion, but quickly laughs loudly. I look at his massive jaw, teeth glittering in dim light of the moon. It used to send shivers down my spine, but now it makes me smile in amazement. Funny how that's the only thing that stuck out to you. I cough, pulled back into the conversation. Oh God. My face flushes red as I realize what he just implied. It was the odd one out. Right. He muses, looking at me teasingly. Honestly, I don't know anything about your traditions. I could teach you. What a fucking freak. Jesus. What traditions are we talking about? Are we talking about mating? I bite my lips, sensing a trap. But at the same time, learning their customs isn't such a bad idea. Especially if I stay here until I get better. I don't know. Why is he always smirking like that? There's a time and place for everything, but like now is not the time to be flirtatious. If I were to get better. And hey, might even jog some of my memories. I finally smile, nodding. Okay, teach me what? Oh, teaching the tradition. I thought you were talking about teaching how to mate. Okay, teach me. Oh. Okay. I have to read this without laughing in the middle. I can't stop laughing at the thought of saying this or reading. Well, we are set up to mate with a compatible peer in our childhood. Once we come of age, we... Not that! The heat rises to my cheeks, and I try to shoo away the mental image of him having sex. Oh God, now it's in my head. I feel my face burning up and hide it in my palms as the wolf laughs merrily. I meant the culture! I mumble, still guarding my face from ridicule. Well, it is our culture. Might even say one of the most important aspects. Can't argue with that. So, I finally managed to compose myself. Well, I'm not composing myself. I'm still giggling at the thought of fucking Kalis imagining... Kalis or imagining Raynock fucking mating with someone. I'm not a child anymore. I shouldn't act like one, giggling and blushing upon hearing a no. I raise my head and look up at Raynock. You basically grow up knowing who you'll have to be with. I know you humans do things differently. We don't stay with our mates. We generally just mate to produce the most desirable offspring, to further the tribe. He states matter of factly. The thought of living like that almost makes me feel sad. Don't wolves feel love? Raynock laughs again, this time even louder, as if I cracked the best joke he'd heard the entire day. What does love have to do with it? It has a lot to me. I blurt out, almost gasping and covering my mouth. Somehow I managed to rein in that impulse. I don't want the wolf to misconstrue me. We do love Kaylin, but it doesn't factor into procreation. We mate for the tribe, we love for ourselves. I look at him confused. It sounds so wrong, yet. Do I even have a point of reference? I can't remember my life before this whole mess, so how am I sure it's not the case for everyone? However, my gut tells me that this is not what I agree with. The wolf looks at me, seeing the gears beginning to turning behind my mask of silence. He decides to break it. I know humans take mating seriously. I've heard they vow loyalty to each other, which also includes. This time he bites his lip. I almost shiver seeing the fang perk out, but again, the wolf laughs. The carnal side of things. This makes me blush again, as the image of me having sex pops into my head. This dude's the freakiest guy. We literally just met. Wait, how long have we been out? A week? Shit, I don't even remember. I just played this. I just read this a few days ago. The image of me having sex pops into my head. How would that even work? Did I ever have sex? I try to imagine the act and I jump up in bed with a yelp, startling the wolf. What happened? I turn red as bricks, quickly looking away from him. Why? Why does my mind do this to me? Why did it show me with him? Bro, does our main character not even realize he's gay? He just knows the fact that what love is. He's a talking beast, man. What the hell, brain? I shake my head. There's nothing to it. I know there isn't. I just don't remember what other people look like. All I know is him. Why do I even explain myself to myself? I just need to rein my thoughts in, that's all. Are you okay? Did you remember something? The wolf sounds worried, placing his massive paw on my shoulder. The sheer sensation causes me to inexplicably shiver. Perhaps you took the vows with someone. What? No! I don't know. Just looking at this right. I've read somewhere that like the author slash illustrator of this novel had like beef with the Echo project, the Echo team. But like creating sprites that look like Amicus, come on. I'm just saying. I protest as hard as I can, almost offended at the insinuation. But quickly my resolve melts away as I realize that I don't know. I have no clue. I might have. I slump back into my hands, struggling to contain tears once again. This is so messed up. Who even am I? Out of the corner of my eye, I see his big paws around me, with massive claws at their end. My heart skips a beat, but I don't allow myself to be terrified. It wouldn't be fair, not to him. The wolf leans in closer, and again I feel his embrace. The warmth of his fur completely envelops me, and I feel his heavy breath brush my hair and fall down my neck. You're Kaylin. That's all that matters. He murmurs softly, rubbing my back with his paws. I chuckled into his chest, feeling so safe in his embrace, as if nothing could happen to me while he holds me close. I feel those things, certain truths, but I can't be certain of them at all. The wolf still holds me tight in his arms. I wonder if he even hears me through his fur, but he quickly disperses my doubts. If you feel strongly about anything, don't doubt it. Even if I can't remember? Especially if you can't remember. The wolf gently pushes me away so that our eyes can meet again. He has a soft smile with the most reassuring gaze he can muster. Your feelings are your compass. Follow them. Then I know I never took the vows. I chuckle, rubbing away the tears. I look back up towards him and laugh as I realize I'm taking life advice from a talking wolf while simultaneously assuring both of us that I'm not taken. He smiles back while reaching up to my cheek. With one finger, he gently rubs it, clearing a single stray tear that I missed. Panic begins to take hold of me as the very same finger ventures towards my eye, claw glistening in the faint light, but I manage to rein my fear. Renock picks up a loose eyelash and presents it to me with a smile. Not even knowing why, I just make a wish and blow it away. The wolf blinks in astonishment and then smiles. What was that? I don't know. It's just something I felt like doing. Renock smiles. See? You've got a good compass. Indeed. And if this is all but a dream, then I don't mind if it lasts a little while longer. The following day greets me with a warm glow of the rising sun. I still feel uneasy about the previous night, and although I have bonded with Raynock, I think I might have stumbled upon something I'd be better off without. Something wrong transpired yesterday, but I don't know what. Did the wolf cross the line by sneaking up on me in the middle of the night? I shake my head in dismissal. It's not that. The wolf is quirky, true, but nothing else than kind and caring. I throw off the blanket, deceived by the warm hues flooding the room, only to realize it is a really cold morning. Gently, I check the wooden floor with my toe, and a jolt of cold shoots upwards through my body. There is no other way around it. I simply hop off the bed with both feet immediately stinging in discomfort, but it doesn't last long. I'm more concerned by the slight shivers caused by my naked skin. Pity that Raynock doesn't have any shirts, but at the same time, why would he? He is a wolf with fur covering him head to toe. I envy him the comfort of his coat. It's very warm and cozy. Memory of snuggling into his chest only empowers the sensation of chill creeping down my back, and I notice goosebumps appearing on my skin. This leaves me in a rather peculiar situation, where I have to fashion some form of toga out of my bed linen. Once I am satisfied with my handiwork, I approach the window to look at the forest outside. The sun seeps through the treetops. Did I say that right? The sun seeps through the treetops, splitting into a spectacular light show that I can't help but admire. I take in the fresh fragrance of the morning dew, almost identical to the smell I came to associate with Raynock. That's when I hear the wolfman stir in the next room. I swiftly approach the doors separating our chambers, opening them without much warning. Jesus fucking Christ. Damn. My eyes focus on the wolf who stretches out My eyes focus on the wolf who stretches out in a long yawn, all muscles tensing up as he arches upwards. Do I technically have to censor that? No. Maybe if I want to be safe. He's completely nude and try as I can. I do not divert my gaze from his bulging penis donned by two furry balls swinging. Oh my god, I love it when authors have to write down and describe how someone's cock and balls are. It's hilarious to me. I am so sorry. I yelp as if I dip my fingers into boiling water. I hide my face inside my palms, trying to communicate clearly it was just an accident. Caitlin! A wooden skirt fills the room as the wolf stumbles back into the table, desperately trying to cover his crotch. I turn away, clenching my teeth in utter embarrassment. I should have. I hear the I hear the male scramble about with a distinct shriek on the table, moving along the wooden floor as he tries to get his loincloth on. I didn't mean to. I mutter apologetically, but quickly feel a surge of anger rising within me. Why are you sleeping naked? I call, I call out, still avoiding eye contact and shielding my field of vision with a hand. Why aren't you? The male responds nonchalant. I can't think. I can't think of a repost. That wouldn't imply I don't trust him. Even if he has a creepy habit of staring at people in their sleep, my covers remained where they were. I groan in annoyance. Ugh, are you decent? Just a moment. He seems just as embarrassed as I am. I'm sorry I barged in like that. It's fine. I'm good now. The wolf responds, allowing me to finally face him. He isn't good, though. All he has on him is his ridiculously skimpy loincloth, which barely covers his protruding bulge. I try to avoid looking at that area by diverting my gaze upwards, which is as much of a mistake as I end up staring him up. I mean, we could kind of see his penis and the shorts he was wearing earlier. I'm just saying. I admire the way his upper body is sculpted, his musculature on full display. It is alluring to gaze at such a hunk, and as much as I want to fight it, my body reacts in a most predictable way. I feel slight tingling in my nether region, and my pulse raises. God, I need a distraction before my entire face paints red. I smuggled some food yesterday for your breakfast. I don't want you to go hungry. He points awkwardly to the small wicker basket in the corner, obviously picking up on my distress. At moments like this, I envy the beastmen. Their fur coating. At least they don't announce their embarrassment to the whole world as humans do. I quickly approach the basket and look inside. There are 6 eggs and 3 thick slices of pork and some bread. I smile, realizing this is as universal breakfast as it can get. Would you share it with me? I ask absent-mindedly. I'd enjoy cooking for us. Raynok's eyes widen in surprise, but quickly his expression changes into a smile. If you're offering. He points at the hearth, which looks as alien to me as he himself does. In all honesty, I have no idea what I'm getting myself into, but anything is better than lingering in this awkwardness. Do you know how to go about it? I mean, wait, he snuggled food for us last night? I would have assumed that the food would have already been cooked. Was this food from the feast? No. I don't know. I'm looking too into it. Excuse me, shit. I look at the stone. Oh shit, my bad. I look at the stone fireplace, trying to figure out how each of the prongs and spikes plays into the whole rustic cooking experience. I'm a fast learner. I smile, approaching the hearth with confidence. I can feel its warmth embrace me, gently kissing my skin wherever it is exposed. It is a welcome sensation in this otherwise cold morning. Eggs, bacon, and toast it is. I say with a wide grin as the wolf's ears perk up and his expression lightens. I have to say, I like your newfound confidence. I smile back at the male, feeling thankful to have someone as positive and supportive as him taking care of me. Well, now that I kinda understand what's going on, I cut off once I gaze back at the hearth and my smile disappears. How one would even go about making breakfast in this living museum? Before I get to ask, Raynok approaches me with what looks like a flat iron plate and a long prong. It doesn't even have sides, and it looks like no pan I've ever seen. Not that I actually can remember. Again, my mind is playing tricks, making me aware of things I can't recollect. Pan or not, I can see one could easily make a proper fry up on it. I place my hands on the handle, nodding to Raynok to let go. To my surprise, it is much heavier than I anticipated. Cooking utensils shouldn't be this heavy. Before I drop it to the floor, I feel the male's embrace, his form enveloping mine, as he aids my hold from behind. I can feel his chest pressing against my back, as well as hear his breath just above my head. My heart skips a beat as his paws cover my hand, supporting the hold on the heavy pan. Easy now. He crooned softly, helping me properly hold the pan above the fire. I'm frozen. I just managed to calm myself down, and this again is sending me to the edge. Perhaps I should hold it, while you take care of the rest. I nod hastily, wanting to get out of the embrace. Feeling his fur, his form against mine, is more stimulating than I expected. As I entangle myself from his embrace, I rush towards the wicker basket. Part of me is angry that I dismissed the moment so soon, but I do not have the courage to face the embarrassment of getting aroused in front of him. Not to mention, it feels all sorts of wrong. It's not musk. Musk? Oh shit, I'm fucking. My fucking mind. It's not much, but that's all I could scrounge up. Shit. He says almost apologetically. Well, it's plenty enough for me. I give him a reassuring smile and grab the wicker basket, letting it wrestle merrily with my step as I bring it forth to the hearth. The wolf does a good job of securing the pan inside the fireplace. What is that cooking pan? Is that a cooking pan? What is that? As shit. As I watch as the flame embraces the rim of the iron plate, dancing merrily along the edges. I notice a large two-pronged fork resting on the mantel above. Reaching with my hand, I grab its handle and I use it to carefully move a succulent slab of pork onto the pan. I guide the slice around the metal plate, allowing its fat to cover the whole thing nicely. The wolf watches intensely, his ears perking up as I place another slice on the pan. Well, you know what you're doing, I guess. Told you, you have a good compass. I smile, giving him a happy side-eye. I crack the first egg on the stone wall of the hearth, carefully moving it over the pan. I could hear Raynok's tail sweep the floor like a broom. The wolf doesn't need much to get into a good mood. Once I spill the egg onto the hot plate, I look around for a place to discard the shells. Throw it into the fire, the wolf says softly. Makes for better fertilizer. Fertilizer? We use the ashes to enrich the soil. The wolf explains, helping me with the remaining eggs. Huh. I learned something new. We crack the remaining eggs one by one, watching our breakfast sizzle. It looks gorgeous, with the red pork slowly browning and eggs sitting in tight. The smell is amazing, but I realize something is missing. Do you have any salt? Salt? The wolf looks at me with an amused smile. First a mirror, now this? I start to think you might be a lost human noble. As if. I grunt through a laugh. Then again, maybe I am. It definitely wouldn't be any crazier than asking wolves, now would it? Once everything is fried to perfection, Raynok moves a pan into the table. The flame dances happily, filling the gap where the pan smothered it, returning to full glow. I sit with my back to the fire, enjoying the warmth of the hearth and the radiating heat of the pan. I feel so snug, completely forgetting how dreadfully cold this morning is. Raynok cuts the stale bread into a few slices and impales them on a spit. Want to wash up while they roast? He asks, pointing to a wooden bowl standing on a cupboard in front of the table. I suggest you go first, as I tend to leave lots of fur behind. Wooden bowl standing in the cupboard in front of the table. Oh, that. Yep, that's a lot of fur, all right. I reluctantly move away from my seat towards the bowl, not really keen on leaving the warmth of the fireplace, but also not wanting to come across as unhygienic. As I stare at the bowl, noticing my distorted reflection, I cannot help but feel this is just bare bones. I don't know why, but I know I will have to figure out a better way to get clean down the line. For now, however, this would have to suffice. I dip my hands first, quickly shuddering. Fuck, it's cold! I yelp, causing the wolf to laugh. Cold is an understatement. The water is frigid, my hands feeling as if I am about to lose my fingers. Helps you wake up, doesn't it? The male laughs, looking back at the slowly browning bread. Well then, no other choice, is there? I scoop the water with my hands and quickly slush my face with it, drawing a raspy gasp. Damn, it's cold. I might as well be washing myself with a handful of needles. I repeat it a few times and cleaning off my hands and arms as quickly as possible. My skin feels like it's on fire. I can see a small cloth resting next to the bowl, which I use to dry myself off. Once I finish, I quickly rush towards the fireplace and get back into the warmth. As I sit, Rannoch removes the last piece of toast from the spit. When he notices my face, he snorts through a held-down laugh. Pink. He struggles to contain his amusement, and I realize my skin flushed because of the exposure. The wolf goes to the cupboard to take his turn washing up. Sure, when you're covered with fur, that water might not be that bad, but fuck. I shudder just at the memory of it. I watch with curiosity as he washes up, noticing that he isn't actually soaking the fur, but rather brushing it with a wetted paw. He raises his massive arms up, biceps fully tensed, allowing me to see a lush fluff underneath his armpits, akin to what you would normally see in humans. Haha. Rannoch begins to wash his pits for a moment, and I feel a slight embarrassed that his bathroom routine is more diligent than mine. That embarrassment changes to outright horror as I see him undo his underwear, cloth dropping to the floor with a soft flop and exposing his top butt cheeks. He's being too diligent. I quickly drag the chair to the left, causing a loud wooden creak which draws Rannoch's attention. Don't turn around! I stop him before he can accidentally flash me again. Sorry. My gaze is drilled into the wall separating kitchen from the bedroom, but I can still see him moving in my peripheral vision, dangling over the bowl, leaving no room for imagination as to what he's actually washing. I shield my eyes from the view with my hand and stay like that until the wolf sits back at the table. I'm glad I've washed first. I mumble in annoyance. I wouldn't want to splash myself with his balls. Kind of you to wait. But as I said, this is more for you than myself. I regard the male as he pushes the plate towards me. I'd like to share. I wouldn't be able to eat all of this anyway. I look around the room to find some utensils, but it doesn't seem like there were any on display. Something's wrong? The wolf asks, seeing my gaze wandering around the room. How do we eat? You have fingers, don't you? He chuckles, tugging one egg into his paw and shoveling it into his muzzle. I grimace at the idea of having yolk dripping all over my hands and face. Sure, maybe he can swallow an egg whole with his massive jaw, but I would not be able to do that. I grab a slice of toast and break off a piece, using it to dip into the yolk. That way I don't risk splattering it all over myself. La-da. The wolf scoffs at my eating. Guess I was right about you being a noble after all. He winks, which I only roll my eyes, enjoying the meal. The toast is amazing and pairs perfectly with creamy yolk. It is definitely a familiar sensation, something I had to enjoy before. I pull off a little bit of pork to sandwich between the two pieces of toast, dipping it all into the eggs. Damn, this is quite good. It's almost as if I'm discovering flavors of food anew. As I fashion another bite, I notice the wolf looking at me with a curious smile. Instead of eating it myself, I instinctively offer a piece to him, which catches the wolf by surprise. Can't read tonight, damn. Then again, I can't read at all, so. Again, I hear the swinging of the tail and my smile widens. Renock opens his muzzle and gently takes the food from my hand, careful not to bare his fangs at me. I struggle to contain a blush as his lips delicately envelop my fingers as I notice my left leg begin twitching in rhythm of his wagging. Not bad. He smacks his lips with a cheeky grin. I laugh quietly and go back to eating. My thoughts wander off as we sit there in silence. Renock is really kind and supportive, but there's something about him I can't put my finger on. Everyone's really cautious about me, but you're the only one taking this in strides. It's just the way I am. He shrugs with a weak smile. Maybe, but you've been extremely friendly towards me. I'm always friendly. He smiles, gulping another egg in one bite. No one's always friendly. I look at him with a knowing gaze. He's hiding something, and if we are going to have an open conversation, I want him to be honest. He looks to the side with a sigh, scratching his chin. Renock, I say pleadingly, but the wolf still avoids looking at me. At the very beginning, just before you untied me, you said to Vol that you needed me to trust you. Why? Still nothing. I want to trust you. I do. But you also have to trust me in return. In turn. Why do you care so much about me? It's not just your coming of age ceremony, is it? There's something you're not telling me. You're more perceptive than I hoped. Not sorry to disappoint you in that regard, I muttered defiantly, ripping off another piece of toast. He scoots over ever so slightly, enough, however, to draw my attention to it. The day before my ceremony, I prayed to the ancestors and to Alna. Aluna. Have I been saying Alna this whole time? Aluna. I asked them for clarity and guidance, to know if they approve of my vision for the future of our tribe. Your vision? What do you mean by that? Before long, I will become the next chief, and that will mean I'll have to stay here until I'll be laid to rest beneath my tree. Before that happens, I want to see the world, to explore it and experience it for myself, so that I can learn and become better than my father and all of those who came before him. How do you know you'll be the next chief? Is it hereditary like a monarchy? I ask, dipping my toast in yolk and chewing on it idly. Not precisely. Technically, the chief is elected by the Howl. The Howl? It's the gathering of the prominent tribal leaders. They are called upon to make important decisions, like choosing a chief or advising him on hard issues. So they're like a parliament then. Kinda. He looks at me with slight amusement. You're quite well informed. Yeah, well, not about the things that actually matter. I mumble, picking at some bacon. If it's elective, though, how do you know you'll be the next chief? Because my father has made me his heir. In order for the Howl to choose someone else, there would have to be a challenger. He dons a wide, proudful smile. And I'm pretty much safe in that regard. There's no one who would seriously challenge me and hope to win. I mean, again, I don't know who else is in the Grove. But, like, just based from what I've seen, sure, he's like a kind and good person and all, but he also tends to be in a lot of trouble, isn't he? I feel like there'd be someone out there who would, like, at least try to step up against the nepotism, I feel like. Anyway, Volgor could. I say cheekily, biting on another piece of toast dipped in yolk. He narrows his eyes at me with a smirk. Vol doesn't want to be chief. Lucky you. I continue to tease him. I could take him down, you know. He says defiantly through a grin, and I just flash my brows. I could! The wolf growls playfully, and his tail wags. If you say so. I finally chuckle, seeing his mild indignation. So you want to become a better leader. That's understandable. But how will traveling help you accomplish that? My people are dying out, holding on to an antiquated way of life. They're trying to preserve a piece of a world that no longer exists, while the rest of Avalan seeks to build a better future together. I might not trust the tigers, but the alliance of Tigeron has kept the continent at peace for centuries. Well, for the most part. I roll my eyes. You did kind of go to war over Renock flicks his tail in annoyance, giving me a stern look. He obviously finds the subject irritating. I wish you didn't treat this so lightly. That war was an outcry of a species who simply would not roll over and die. It was our last-ditch attempt to prove to the rest of Alavan that we are still here and that we are to be treated with respect. His words are empty. I snort. Respect. What about the tiger who paid his life for a simple mistake? Where was the respect in that? You said yourself you would have killed me. Stop. He cuts me off with a pleading tone, but I can't stop. Not after he admitted that I would pay with my life for any potential damage to his tree. No! Where would your respect be in killing me over something so silly like a damned tree? I finished my unexpected rant. My heart rattled enough to even make me wonder what the hell just happened. Renock takes a deep sigh, looking at me with a hurt expression. I can clearly see he doesn't want to even consider a possibility of having to kill me, but that thought will always stay with me. Those trees aren't silly. Yes, I know, they're graves or something, but you won't bring back the dead by killing the living. He looks at me with a painful expression, almost as if he pitied me, my ignorance. Without the name trees, our souls are condemned to the final darkness. We're gone the moment we draw our last breath. Final darkness? Death. So you don't believe in the afterlife? He scoffs, looking at me as if I were a naive child. There is no life after. This world is all there is. Once your light is extinguished, the final darkness falls upon you, and that is that. I cringe at the description, feeling almost familiar with it, as if I lived it, if one can live through death. That's why the trees are so important. They allow us to cheat death, if only for a little while. And you believe that? I know that. You can't know for certain what happens after death. I scoff. I understand the significance of name trees, but it's still just a belief. Killing people because of your faith is wrong, regardless what you believe in. Especially if, according to you, you condemn them to oblivion. He sighs in resignation, looking away from me. Perhaps you will never understand. An awkward moment of silence falls over us, as we sit there uncomfortably. I almost want to laugh at the absurdity of it all. I'm sitting in this strange cabin with a talking wolf, debating afterlife and ethics of capital punishment. But at this point, I decide to simply roll with the punches. Was it really worth it? Going to war? No war is worth the strife it causes. But we did prove our point, and Tigeron left us alone. So far, the tigers seem to be more level-headed in all of this. Maybe. Renock shrugs, finally facing me. But it weren't the tigers who got robbed of their land. It's not their people and culture that began vanishing over the centuries. Perhaps that's why they can afford their moral high ground. Beware the wounded wolf. Huh? He looks at me, surprised, and I simply shrug. It's just an expression, I think. The wolf laughs awkwardly at the remark. I'm not sure if he took it the right way. The past is the past. No point fretting over it. Maybe. Although, as someone who can't even remember the day before yesterday, I can perfectly understand the need to hold on to the past, or whatever's left of it. I pull my knees up into the chair, wrapping my arms around them. But I can also see your point. We cannot change the past, and it shouldn't define us. At the end of the day, I'm still here, for the most part. I don't know if my memory is all that important in the grand scheme of things. All I really want to do now is to move forward. I don't want to be a kid lost in a cabin in the woods forever. Yeah. He smiles, looking at me with an almost proud expression. And neither should my people. Which is what we essentially are, a bunch of wolves stuck inside their cabins in the woods. The only way to move forward for them is to join the other kin in their endeavor. That's what I want to do as chief. He pumps out his chest with a proud expression, which draws a smile from me. It's nice to see someone so determined and confident, someone who has their life and goals all figured out. I think it's a good policy. Oh? United we stand, divided we fall. He narrows his brows with a cheeky smile. Look at you, quoting wisdom out of nowhere like a shaman. I laugh. I have no idea where all this comes from. My mind is as blank as it is, but there are echoes of things coming to me at just the right moments. Perhaps I am one? I joke, drawing a laugh from the wolf. He bops me with his shoulder and I chuckle, glad the tension between us dissipated. I'm not even sure what caused it in the first place. That anger I felt came out of nowhere. Anyway, in order to achieve all that, I actually need to see what's happening beyond our borders. If I want to untie my tribe with the rest of the Avalan, I need to see what Avalan became. What did I say? Untie? If I want to unite my tribe with the rest of Avalan, I need to see what Avalan became. I'm tired. Shit. And I can start this quest by bringing you home. I smile, seeing him so serious. It cannot help but ruin the moment. So, in a way, you simply see me as your ticket out of here. A ticket? He blinks, and the silence settles. As the silence settles, it's clear he doesn't understand the word. Fuck. Do I? An excuse? I propose, and he thinks it over eventually, nodding reluctantly. Yes, in a way I do. But there is more to that. I asked the ancestors for a path other than what the tribe would normally allow me. A path that would lead me to places none of our wolves ever visited before. And then I found you. He smiles, placing a paw on my hand. A human, with no humans around for thousands of miles. At that moment I knew you are the path I wished for. Not only did the ancestors' answer my prayer, they also gave a sign that my plan for our tribe has their full support. And the first step on my journey to become a worthy chief is to deliver you back to your own people. I look away at the window, lost in thought. This explains a lot of his behavior, why he's so familiar and friendly, but I remain unconvinced. Sure, all of this is quite a coincidence, but at the same time, I'm not a path. I'm just a lost person in the woods. That, or just asleep and waiting to finally wake up. Well, I'm glad it's you who found me. I truly am. Had it been Volgor, I would not be sitting here having this conversation, that's for sure. I still don't agree I am a path, but I at least understand what you want your path to be. And I will gladly walk it with you. I smile, happy to know I'll have him as a companion on my way home. If I remember where home is, you'll never go back. My heart sinks to my stomach as a feeling of utter defeat overtakes me. What is it? The wolf asks with concern, seeing my sudden mood swing. I'm just worried. He smiles at me, ruffling my hair. First, we need to get your memories back. In the meantime, just enjoy yourself. Granted, you're nice and all, but I can't enjoy myself when I feel as if I was born yesterday. I grumble, looking down at the food slightly resigned. That's because you're not allowing yourself to. Stressing over this won't make it go away any faster. His paw reaches up to my chin, lifting it up so that I meet his eyes. You lost your memory. Nothing can be done about that. And he grimaces in a playful way. I broke our laws by bringing you here. Can't change that either. Those things are beyond our control now, but we can control how we deal with them. From now, things can only get clearer. Isn't it all exciting? He grins, voice full of confidence and pure thrill. I can hear his tail swings widen, brushing every few moments against the chair. And just like that, the odd feeling of dread that held me down is simply banished, gone without a trace. I sigh with a thankful smile. I guess you're right. Of course I am, he laughs. A week ago, I was just going about my boring daily life, and now I'm having breakfast with a human. He leans in. What are the odds? His teasing whisper draws a reluctant laugh from me. A week ago. What a concept. Just think about it. What does your compass tell you? I pause to really consult my inner feelings. Even though I don't remember my life, I know it was nowhere near as crazy as this. I finally reply with a chuckle. See? That's a good thing, right? I finally nod through a smile, eating up another piece of yolked bread. I guess this is an adventure of sorts. Something out of ordinary, and if that's the case, I'm glad to share it with him. Somehow, this wolf makes me feel as if I could face anything as long as I have him by my side. At my side. Also, his reactions suggest to me he was rather lonely before I showed up. He pretty much revels in my company despite me not being the easiest of guests, or cheeriest of people. Then again, from what I heard so far, I can't blame him. Their lifestyle feels more like something suited for a penal colony than anything else. No wonder he finds my company so enticing. We continue eating our meal in silence for a while, Reyna clearly enjoying himself while I contemplate this whole situation. I realize that the shadow that stalks the recesses of my mind isn't even there when the wolf is around. It's almost as if Reyna banishes it completely. He has this uncanny ability to calm me down, even if it doesn't make any sense. It's a very comforting thought. Thank you again for saving me. Don't mention it. I nod quietly. I don't think he quite realizes what I meant. He saved me in more than just one way. Without him, I don't think I'd be able to deal with all of this as well as I do. I recline comfortably into the chair, just enjoying the warmth of the hearth, but it doesn't last too long. Raynok, it's me. Get decent. We can hear Verissa's muffled voice from beyond the door. I look at the male confused. Did she also walk in on him in the past? It's your cue. Hide. Oh. I nod in understanding and rush back to the bedroom. I close the doors behind me, putting my ear against the wooden planks. You know what? It might be a bit short, but I will call it for the night. Because, again, I am getting a little bit tired. I was stumbling way more than I usually do. But, anyways, so far, I think it's cute. It's cute. Nothing Nothing like too groundbreaking, nothing too boring, but it's cute. I enjoy reading this. Um, again, since barely anything since barely anything happening, I hope I can record something longer the next time I play this. Um, but again, earlier, before I started reading in this video, I said that um, I think the creator of this novel kind of had beef with the Echo project, and um, I can feel it through this writing. That's one of the critiques I have for this novel so far. I can feel like the beef radiating, and I'm not saying that this novel is bad now, but I'm saying it's trying a lot to be ad ad dastra. That's all I'm saying. This again, I'm still having fun reading this though. This novel still has a lot of potential, like I said, but still, I don't want to I don't want to keep comparing this to Ad Astra because it's Ad Astra is its own separate problem. But uh, anyways, yeah, I don't really have any thoughts. The way Raynok is treating us though. Again, is it a little creepy? Maybe. Am I reveling in it? Fuck. I am reveling in the fact that Raynok is a little bit a little bit freaky like that. Even though we like just met like a week ago. Not I don't even say we just met like a week ago. More like we just met yesterday. But anyways, if you somehow managed to listen through all my reading and stumbling, thank you. If you want to watch me read more, then hey, I think I think I'm planning to read more of this. If you want to suggest more things, I have been looking at all the suggestions and I have been writing them down, keeping them in my mind. Um, the suggestions mostly, honestly, when I play them, or if I play them, it's mostly going to be based off my current mood. But anyways, again, if you watch, thank you and good night because it is night for me.